It's just roughly about 7 months until the checkered flag falls in Abu Dhabi and the F1 2019 season comes to an end. However, the title fight does look like it's going to be a two-horse race between two Mercedes drivers again. I know, how typical, in Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Today, as you can see by the title, we are going to be discussing one of those drivers. Not Lewis Hamilton. We've had what I would say about him. We just push him aside just for one video, I'm sure. Obviously, we're going to be talking about his teammate, Valtteri Bottas. And can he win the World Championship this season? Now, we did a similar sort of video in the last episode about Max Verstappen and can he win the championship in the future with Red Bull. So today's video is quite, very similar to that, and obviously we're going to be talking about Bottas and his chances this season. But before we jump into today's video, we have a little target for ourselves. Now, at the moment, we're doing really, really well in terms of subscribers. 531 at time of recording. It might have went up by the time this video goes live. But we are going to set ourselves a nice, easy little target. Well, I say easy, a nice little target in 550 before the British Grand Prix, which, if you don't know already, we are going to. So if you are going there, obviously make sure that you see our ugly mugs, obviously more so Lyle's than mine. But if you do say ugly mugs, come say hi, and yes, obviously get involved with the F1 debate show. Obviously, we might be releasing some plans at some point in the future, so just stick around for that. So if you do like the sound of that, then please subscribe. Get a star target of 550 by the British Grand Prix. So now that's out the way with, let's jump back into the video. So Valtteri Bottas now. Bottas in 2018 wasn't even good, was it? Let's not be surprised by that, because 2017, his first season at Mercedes, it was quite okay, touch and go, right. He's been at Williams for good a couple of years now. He's done rather well, and his move to Mercedes wasn't really expected quite so soon, because obviously Nico Rosberg retired rather, Mercedes and Formula 1 in general, and then they had to quickly get someone else in, and obviously that driver was Valtteri Bottas. 2017 was like, right, okay, a couple of wins here, a couple of wins there, and the pole position. He did rather well. 2018 wasn't so good, and that was supposed to be the season that defined Valtteri Bottas. He was just a million miles away from Lewis Hamilton. He just was off the pace completely. To be fair, at the start of the season he did okay, but then at the end of the season, he didn't do as well, and that led us to kind of discuss his future, whether he should be in that Mercedes or whether he should be in Formula 1 in general, and his future, where should he be in 2019. So we said at about, I want to say about a month or so now, I would say about a month ago, that we discussed drivers, or actually at the start of the season, we discussed drivers who could potentially be, sacked or fired or whatever, should they not perform during the season. And one of those drivers we said was Valtteri Bottas. But 4 races in, he isn't doing too bad, to say the least. Obviously, let us know your opinions in the comment section below about Valtteri Bottas. Do you think that he can win the World Championship this season? So obviously, we want to hear your opinions, guys, because we love hearing and seeing your comments on social media and on YouTube as well. You've been absolutely brilliant the past couple of episodes, so I would, can't wait to see your comments, and neither can Lyle as well. So before I give my opinions, I want to hear Lyle's opinions first. So Lyle, I'm just going to ask you blatantly this question: can Valtteri Bottas win the World Championship in 2019?
In 2019, yes, I'm going to say he is, because when we came into Australia, he was, yes, definitely the underdog, the person who, he had a very, very strange kind of relationship with Mercedes, a strange, going on in Formula 1. I think a lot of times, Russia 2018 stood out to a lot of people, me included, even though I don't think I read into it as much as actually what happened. Yes, just quickly, John, yes, you said at the start, yeah, he was brought in to replace Valtteri, but he's not replacing himself, he's replacing Nico Rosberg.
Yes.
He was brought in to replace Nico Rosberg when he retired in 2016. A strange move. When that happened, I had no idea who was going to come in to replace him, but I'll tell you who I didn't think it would be. It wouldn't be Sebastian Vettel, or it wouldn't be Max Verstappen, even though the thing that people were saying about that move, it was whoever was going to come in was going to be a seat filler for 1 year and open it up to, I guess the possibility of maybe Seb coming into the team. Definitely not Max. But yeah, whoever it was going to be a seat filler. It could have been Felipe Massa. I think I heard that's another Williams driver at the time. But yeah, it's Valtteri Bottas, and I was quite shocked when that happened. I think John was shocked as well. But yeah, going forward from this, Jordan, you said in 2017, I think it was, that Valtteri Bottas was going to win the World Championship. Now, I always keep thinking back to that. You know, you said it, and I think you were just saying it, you know, for the sake of kind of getting his name out there to kind of show him a bit of support. And I was like, okay, fair enough. You know, we're going to give him support, but he's not going to beat Lewis.
Because I remember, just quickly, sorry, I remember people doubting his name already, even before he'd even, you know, got away off the starting grid in Australia. And I just thought, right, let's just blow this out the water and let's say that, all right, he's going up against Hamilton. At the time, he was the 3-time world champion, and he'd just been beaten by Nico Rosberg. So I'm thinking, right, he has been beaten eventually by Rosberg. Is Hamilton going to be a bit ropey coming into that following season? So I just thought that, right, new teammate. He's just lost the world championship, so I didn't think Hamilton would be as good, and obviously I didn't know that Ferrari would be the team that they were that year. So, you know, there was just I was being a bit too ambitious, but that was before that a car had entered the track, or joined the track rather in Spain, pre-season test in 2017. So yeah, ambitious.
I mean, it was still great though. I mean, it was still great for you to say as well. I think I said Hamilton that year, so again, it just added more spice in our predictions. But yeah, we showed him love, we showed him support. He had 3 wins in 2017 when he came in. Really came off the bat. It was a Russian Grand Prix. I want to say that was round 4. You know, really great from there. Street circuit, really good from there. He's loved that track before. Good and bad points and running it right in the two of the years around that. But yeah, he's come out of the bat this year really, really strong, bringing the fight to Lewis now. And I don't want to mention this because it's been shared absolutely round, but we all know that the radio message that he made, you know, to who it may concern. I'm not going to finish the rest. And the reason why I think he said that was just because of the people that were doubting him. And I think that also in his mind he was thinking of like Russia 2018 and the implication that brought on from that, because again I remember just seeing like meme, I know you don't believe memes, but I just saw like a meme before Abu Dhabi, and it was like that funny that James, it's Valtteri thing, you know, whereas like James, whatever his surname is, you know, James from Mercedes, is going to intervene. He's going to stop Valtteri Bottas, you know, doing what he wants to, you know, getting the win or getting pole position or whatever, because he wants Lewis to get it. So then that's when you felt sorry for him, and then that's why I think you said that radio message. You know, Bahrain was great for him. Well, firstly, Mercedes had 4 1-2s in the best start that they've had since they came into Formula 1. And you think, Jordan, quickly, you know,
it's the best start anyone's ever had in Formula 1.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how good it's been.
Yeah, they've dominated Formula 1 for the past few years. You know, Lewis Hamilton, you know, he's won the championship many times with Mercedes. You know, they've won the constructors, well, all the years with the help of Nico Rosberg and Valtteri Bottas. It's absolutely crazy. And the thing is that they're saying now that this is the best start Mercedes have had. So that's scary. That's like, oh, here we go again. But in a big here we go again, though. I mean, I love how Mercedes are going on. You might not like them as a team, but I think it's great. Valtteri's really, really there. And also, just the last thing, Jordan, to answer your question, the thing is, last year and the other years, you know, Valtteri was always going to be a support drive for Lewis Hamilton, and normally it would be Lewis winning the races and Valtteri coming second, but it's not. And for 2 of those races, it hasn't been. You know, Valtteri Bottas won in Australia and he won in Azerbaijan. Lewis Hamilton picking up the win in Bahrain and in China. So yeah, 2 seconds for Lewis, 2 seconds for Valtteri. 2 firsts for Valtteri and 2 firsts for Lewis. It's very equal. I know that's not what they're working on. They're not working to be equal, but it's the best start for Mercedes, but it's also the best start morally for the both Mercedes drivers and Valtteri Bottas. So, Jordan, to answer your question, I would love it if Valtteri Bottas won this year. Not for the fact that it would be taking Lewis out of the equation, because if we saw Lewis Hamilton win this year, that would be absolutely insane. You know, he's breaking records and he's going after Michaels, and it's incredible. But Valtteri is going to be absolutely incredible. We already know for a fact that he's going to be there battling Lewis Hamilton, being a contender for the championship, but I would love him to win it. So yes, he can, and yes, he is. So Jordan, there we go. I mean, I have full faith in Valtteri Bottas doing this, and it isn't a fluke as well, because, you know, for example, we have seen drivers win. For example, like Max Verstappen in 2016, we never thought he was going to win the championship, even though a few people probably said he was. But he won one race, and then everyone jumped on, I don't want to say bandwagon, but everyone jumped behind Max's amazing thing.
I didn't jump on the bandwagon, I was driving the bandwagon.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, fine, a little bit of bandwagon, but yeah, people did that. Max clearly couldn't win in 2016. He won in Spain, which is incredible, that's never going to be beaten, that record, but then he crashed in Monaco, I think twice, Once in the race, once in qualifying. Is that right? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
Yes,
insane.
qualifying. Yes, in the race he did up at what's it called? Is it Casino Square? Is it called
Yeah, yeah.
Casino Square?
Yeah,
Up the
so
hill?
yeah, so yeah. Max, he couldn't. He was hyped, but he couldn't win. Valtteri isn't. You know, it's not like we've seen one win from Valtteri and we think that he can win the World Championship. We've seen two wins and we've seen two second places. I think it's incredible and I would love it, yeah, for him to win. And is he capable? Yes, of course he is. That Mercedes is so dominant and as I've said for many episodes, the only thing that can stop Mercedes is Mercedes. So Jordan, there we go, just obviously said, do I think that Valtteri will win? Yes, I do. Do you think that he's capable of winning the World Championship in 2019? And do you want him to win the championship in 2019?
Well, first of all, in my predictions, what we made back in January, mid-January with Alex Afro, if you haven't seen that video, please go and check it out. It might be in the I button or in the description below. I said Sebastian Vettel to win the World Championship. That's out the equation now. That's gone. I've lost the prediction race or whatever you feel like. So just quickly on that. But I think, like, the thing is, for me, Valtteri Bottas strikes me as a very calm character, like these Finnish drivers are. They don't say much. They don't do much. You know, they'll have like little digs here and there, like Kimi has before in the past. Valtteri Bottas has this season, like the radio message in Australia, and then I think he did another one in Azerbaijan, where obviously the team radio, obviously his team came on the radio and said, "Oh, good win, Bottas," and all that. And then I think Bottas says, "Okay, the championship is looking." What did he say? The championship is looking like it should, or something like that. He said something like that. So again, another cheeky dig that not a lot of people are going to look into, but it is a cheeky. It is like a little cheeky little dig. But
Yeah.
I think, I do want him to win the championship. Will he win the championship? Now that is probably the biggest question of this. Well, I would say as of now,
Yeah.
because obviously I'll probably say the only driver stopping Valtteri Bottas is Valtteri Bottas. But another driver that's stopping Valtteri Bottas is Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
So as I said at the start of the video, Bottas had a good start to 2018. And then about, I want to say the Austria retirement is when things started really changing for the worse. Not for Lewis, but for Valtteri, when both the cars retired. I think Verstappen won that race, and then Hamilton kind of went on a bit of like a massive dominant phase when Ferrari just completely messed it up, even though they did win the next race. But yeah, there you go. And then went on like just absolute carnage from Mercedes from that point. And Bottas wasn't able to really keep up with the pace of Lewis, and this is when we kind of like started to circulate, you know, this speculation: is Bottas really good enough for Mercedes? And 4 races in, I'm saying yes. I'm saying he is good enough for Mercedes. I think he's a really good driver. I rate him highly. Well, I say I rate him highly. I wouldn't say he's like my favourite driver, but I think I do like to give him credit. Like, you know, like now
He's an underdog and no
due.
one expects him. Yeah, he's underdog.
Exactly.
We all
always
have these
ahead.
kind of pet peeves that we like. Yeah, and he definitely is. Yeah.
He fits that bill. Definitely, I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree as well that he's one of those drivers where, unless you're Finnish, you're going to be like, Bottas, he's all right. Yeah, good couple of wins here and there. You know, he's a good driver. But I would love to see Bottas win the championship. Yes, it'll be good for Formula One. It'll be good for himself, and I think it'll be good to see Hamilton again having another driver that's battling against him. I just hope that if he does win the championship, he doesn't retire the next season, because I want to see, can Bottas do it again? Because at the present time, for me, he's one of my drivers of the season, alongside probably Verstappen and Kimi Räikkönen. So he's doing really, 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 really well. Had a solid start to the season, and his 2 race wins that he's had have not came because of Ferrari's expenses. Like in Bahrain, they were so unlucky not to win that race. Like I've already said. But Bottas didn't win the race. Hamilton did. In Australia, Bottas got away off the line and just left immediately. But the really frustrating thing is, and this is why having Hamilton as a teammate is annoying, nobody really spoke about Bottas' win. Everyone spoke about Hamilton's car damage, and that's why Bottas won the race. And I was like, oh, really? Like, come on, Bottas drove superbly. The little damage to Hamilton's car would have not affected, you know, Bottas's race whatsoever. Hamilton would have still been about, all right, he might have lost a second per lap, but he still would have been like 20 seconds down the road on Bottas. Bottas drove absolutely superbly that day. And then another brilliant race from Bottas as well, having the pressure from Hamilton. He did not one slip up. And that's the difference between a good driver and a great driver. And Bottas at the moment is in that bracket of a great driver when you've got your teammate pressuring you for lap after lap after lap, especially a driver like Lewis Hamilton, don't get me wrong. And he just composed himself. He's calm, he's collective. He's like, right, okay, let's make sure every lap is like, a lap for life. Just, okay, make sure this corner, that corner. Because on the street circuit, you've got to be alert, constantly alert, especially in Baku, when there's just loads of run-off areas when you just get caught out. Like we're seeing with Grosjean as well, like we're seeing with Leclerc and Kubica in qualifying. Obviously, a little mistake and bam, you're in the wall, and that is your race over. They do not forgive you on street circuits. He did superbly there. And again, drives like that will make, drivers like Valtteri Bottas a world champion. Now, Ferrari should be, or really, should be in second place at the moment. Well, they are in second place, but they should be a lot closer. And one of their drivers should be second place in the championship. Now, yes, all right, you could say Bottas is only finishing second because Ferrari aren't doing well. But the driver that's there to pick up the pieces when Ferrari aren't doing well is Valtteri Bottas. It's not Verstappen, it's not Gasly, it's not whoever. It's Valtteri Bottas. He's got a really good. He's got the car to win the championship. He's got the reliability to win the championship. He's got the team to win the championship. Bottas can win the championship. But what I'm saying now is that will he? I really don't know. He's got one thing that Bottas has got to do, right, is that he's got to be consistent from now till Abu Dhabi. He has got to make sure that he's ahead of Hamilton, or if not, he's on par with Hamilton. If he's not winning the race, he's got to be in second place. And if he gets too much second places, he's got to go for them wins. Because let's say Bottas all of a sudden coming into the European season, all of a sudden has a massive blunder, and then this video could be just irrelevant, and we're like, all right, okay, Bottas is just gone. He's got to keep the pace. He's got to keep his cool. And if let's say the situation is like this come the summer break after the Hungarian Grand Prix, yes, it is the Hungarian Grand Prix, then I think we could be saying, right, one of those drivers will win the championship. Because for me, I think Ferrari are just too far behind.
The thing is, yeah, as you say quickly, we're going to get the summer break, and it's going to be most likely Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas, in the championship there, and Mercedes there. But when you're saying about the 1-2s, if Valtteri Bottas gets loads and loads of second places, it's not going to help him, because that's about 8 points between like 25 and 18. That's massive. But that being said, though, Mercedes are most likely going to finish there. If you remember 2016, they finished all but 2 races on the podium. I think that's 18 out of 20, I think it was, with both Mercedes drivers. So it's going to be most likely that. But there's one more thing that Valtteri Bottas can get, and I know again there's going to be a gap. I think it's, it'll be 25 to 19, but there's one thing that he can always battle Lewis Hamilton for, if that's not the race win, and that's the extra point. And again, like I just said there, it's not going to make loads of difference when it's between first and second, but if Valtteri Bottas keeps picking them up, it could maybe equate to something in the World Championship. Because wouldn't it be amazing, though, if he was battling Lewis Hamilton, and it came down to not race results, it came down to the fastest laps, and let's say Valtteri pips Lewis Hamilton, because at the moment, obviously Valtteri Bottas has won from Australia, and Lewis Hamilton doesn't have any.
Like, I think, well, he's one ahead in the championship, isn't he? Valtteri Bottas. And though that extra point that has definitely helped. Definitely helped. I think, did Charles Leclerc get the fastest lap?
Charles Leclerc got the fastest lap in Azerbaijan.
That's all Ferrari are rooting for now at the moment, is that fastest lap extra point. But that's not going to make a difference. So, like, yes, it is. Bottas can go for that. The fastest lap and the fastest point, and of course that could literally be the difference between the championship or not, or it could even be level pegging. But and at this present time, like what we've been saying about Valtteri Bottas' future is that at this moment he's well worthy of another year deal, or even a multi-year contract, and he could be the driver to lead Mercedes into the next kind of era, if you like, if Hamilton doesn't renew his contract, like what we discussed in the last episode. When we discussed about Verstappen, will he go Mercedes? Would he be replacing Bottas or all this? And if Bottas can string up some good results together, then I don't see why not that Mercedes could go, like, literally could sign him rather early. And I want to say as early as the British Grand Prix, and sign him up for next season and go, all right, Bottas is going to be in our seat for 2020. Definitely. The other seat, in Hamilton's seat, I could see that going quite deep into the season, because I don't think Hamilton will want his deal done straight away. He's going to be probably considering the options, but there's going to be a lot of media talk towards the end of that season when Hamilton hasn't signed his contract deal and everyone's going like batting the teeth, going, "Oh, what's Hamilton going to do?" And we're all going to be like, "Just chill."
I know for a fact that there's
It's
going to
got
be
all
people
under
out there
control.
saying Hamilton to Ferrari, Hamilton to Red Bull, Hamilton retiring, which Hamilton retiring is the most likely out of all them. It's not going to happen, but I'm saying it's probably the best out of Hamilton to Ferrari. Or, to be honest, Jordan, I'm just going to say it quickly now. You know, just for like us, I think us going forward, one of the things that I dislike about Formula One, and you know, people talking, is when they say about these big drivers like Sebastian Vettel, and his options are going to Mercedes and Red Bull. You know, it happens, like we saw with Seb in 2014. You know, he went to Ferrari for the 2015 season, but you know, it's not like that silly of a season. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just going to quickly mention there. You know, when you say about Valtteri Bottas getting signed by Mercedes again, I think that Valtteri Bottas will get a multi-year signing with Mercedes. Do you know why? Because he does exactly what they want. He gets them points, and I think that at the end of the day,
that is very true. Yeah.
at the end of the day, like when Nico Rosberg won the championship in 2016, I think that the people that were chuffed for him were, yes, Mercedes, they were happy for him, but I think the person that was the most happy was obviously, like, you know, like Nico Rosberg and obviously Vivian, his wife. But and I know it sounds harsh to say, but I think that Mercedes weren't that pleased. More pleased for Lewis, maybe because they like him. But the thing is, though, it's because the ultimate goal is that Nico scored them points, so did Lewis, to win the constructors. And last year, and again when we talked about Valtteri last year, I think it was after the Russian Grand Prix, after, you know, what I've just been mentioning, we talked about Valtteri Bottas, and we said, you know, like, will he be signed again? And I said yes, and I'm sure John said yes as well, because he does them the ultimate job of scoring them points. And just, you know, like, to close the boot with whatever you're going to hear out there, you know, people saying that, yes, George Russell is in the academy, but Mercedes are not going to be the nice guys and sign the person who they want to see in the seat. They want to sign the person who scores them points. And Valtteri Bottas is still a young guy. He's either going to win the championship or he's not this year. And obviously, hopefully, in terms of what Valtteri wants to do, if he wants to stick around, of course the team will. They'll open him up. They'll open their arms to him, because he, obviously 2018 for example, 2017, 2018 he scores some points, 2019 he's scoring them points. He could slip, hopefully not, but yeah, if he keeps scoring them points, of course they're going to sign him. So it's not going to be like Verstappen and Mercedes if Valtteri doesn't make it on the podium. You know what I mean? As I say, Valtteri's scoring Mercedes points, so that's why they're going to love him. And that's the same with every driver as well. A bit like Gasly at Red Bull, he might not be up there with Max, but if he's scoring points, and if they think that he's going to have more chance of scoring the higher points than anyone in their reserve program, or anyone at Toro Rosso at the moment, for example, like Albon or Fiat, then they will sign Gasly again. But obviously, back to Bottas, yes, the Mercedes love him for scoring the points. So for a team, they obviously love having Valtteri Bottas in the team.
Yeah, he is like the perfect team player, even though that he doesn't want to be playing second fiddle to Hamilton. Nobody wants to be playing second fiddle to their teammate. Like, Rosberg was so, like, I think they wanted Hamilton to be the number one driver and Rosberg to be like the number two. And I think that's why when he won the championship, it was like, oh, this kind of like, we let this happen by accident. Obviously, I know that, you know, that could be a bit harsh to say, but that's what it sounded like on the team radio anyway. Rosberg did deserve the victory, by the way. Don't get me wrong. He did definitely deserve the world championship in 2016. Full credit to him for beating Hamilton, who was in fine form. That 10 races, didn't win a championship. Gutted. But obviously Bottas, like, there doesn't seem to be any fuss with Bottas, even though that, right, you might look disappointed like he did in Russia 2018, but there is no like outburst on social media. There's no like, all right, Ted Kravitz going to asking Bottas, all right, what was said in the debrief, you know, between you and Hamilton, what was said back at base. It's always commiserations as well. All right, you look a bit down and out, and obviously his response would be, yeah, but the team got the results. That's what we wanted. Bit disappointed, but we go again next season. And that's the guy that they want. It's correct for the team. It's correct for the sponsors. Bottas says the right things. He wears the right stuff. He likes his dog. Random fact. It just sprung in my head. I remember seeing that video this week when obviously he's seen his dog for the first time in like God knows how long. That was a nice touch as well. But yeah, like Bottas is just like a nice down to earth guy, and that's what every team wants. And again, back to what I said before about the sponsors, they're going to want to sponsor the Mercedes team because they've got the right guy to do so, and even more so that if he does lead the team becomes the number one driver one day, should Lewis Hamilton leave or retire for that instance. So something that doesn't regularly happen on the F1 Debate Show, we have some good news. We have some really good news. Oh, well, especially if you are good news, especially if you are a Dutch fan watching us. So obviously, greetings if you are from Holland. That the Dutch Grand Prix is more or less going to be back on the Formula One calendar. Now, this is big. Well, this is really is big news, because this is something that's been, well, a lot of fans have been pushing or pressuring Formula One to bring back since one particular driver came into Formula One. I mean, I don't know who that could be. Danny Kiva? Anyone, you know, Rio Haryanto or whoever. One of those drivers could potentially have tried to force it back. No, of course not. I'm obviously talking about Max Verstappen. Since he's come into Formula One, it's just been Dutch mania, if you like. You know, whenever you go to the likes of the Belgian Grand Prix, the Austrian Grand Prix, all you see is just a sea of orange. I'm not talking about tangerines. I'm talking about Max Verstappen fans. It is just utter carnage. It's like a big festival, if you like, whenever they go to races in or around the Netherlands. So obviously, Zandvoort, historical track, it's been on the calendar before, got taken off, and now it more or less is going to be back on the calendar, replacing the next round, that is, of the Spanish Grand Prix. So personally, I think that this is a brilliant idea to bring back Holland, Zandvoort rather, because as I said, Max Verstappen is just, is a massive big icon. I think there might be streets and houses and children named Max Verstappen. It's just utter. It's just, as I said, Max Mania, Max Fever, whatever you want to call it. Saturday Night Max Fever, if you want to call it that. But so yeah, I can imagine that. Right, it's race day, the Dutch Grand Prix. It's back. Here we are, and it's just orange all over the place. It would look spectacular. The support from Max Verstappen will be amazing. And not only that, but I think that could help Red Bull bring in some more sponsors as well, because obviously there's going to be loads of people. The attention is just going to be all on Max. Don't bother bringing the Mercedes. Don't bother bringing the Ferrari. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. Just bring Max. Just have him stand in the middle of the grid. And that's all you need, to be honest with you. If you are going to be there, the merchandise Red Bull will shoot up as well. It's just going to be utter carnage. Yes, obviously. So you are definitely going to get the support, because that's what you need to generate money from these races. Like we've seen races before where, obviously, for instance, the Indian Grand Prix, that wasn't get the attendance. Obviously, that dropped from the calendar. The Korean Grand Prix, that was on the calendar. Again, no one would ever show up. And there are some races out there that aren't really big on the calendar, big on attendances, which are putting the races at jeopardy. But some races that do have high attendances aren't currently yet signed. One in particular, and they want to get a move on with it. Anyway, that's for another video. Yes. So obviously, I'm over the moon that the Dutch Grand Prix is coming back. Definitely, this is going to be so good for Formula One. It's going to be so good for for the older generation, seeing Zandvoort back. It's going to be good for the new generation, seeing Zandvoort for the first time, and obviously for one driver, Max Verstappen. He's definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, influenced this Grand Prix to be back. Definitely, Spanish Grand Prix for me. Yes, it is done. I'm not bothered if we see the last of Spain, but will they keep it for testing? I don't know, to be honest with you. That's for another topic, if you like, or another debate. But so yes, obviously the Circuit de Catalunya could be completely gone from the Formula One calendar. As like I said, I'm very more than happy to see the back of it. Obviously, let us know your opinions in the comment section below. Are you happy to see the Dutch Grand Prix back, or would you rather see the Spanish Grand Prix on the calendar? But that's where we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you have done, watch us throughout the course of this episode. If you're new around it, then please like and subscribe. As like I said at the start of the video, 550 subscribers is our target for the British Grand Prix, which, if I haven't said already, we are attending. That's the key thing there, that we are going there. So obviously it's been lovely seeing your faces as well. Obviously comment below about anything that we've said so far in this episode as well. Leave us your opinions as well. Social media, follow us down there as well. Obviously go and follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Twitter and Facebook we're more or less active on as well, but obviously let us know your opinions. If you want to know, let us know your opinions on Twitter as well, and on Facebook, then just send us a message as well. And until the next time, guys, we shall see you later.